Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make simple animated lower thirds that you can use in your videos or you can use in OBS Studio. The first time we're going to do it is going to just be text that animates. Second time we're going to have text on a banner. It's more of a traditional lower third like you'd see in maybe a newscast. So I'm going to show you how to do that using Photoshop and Adobe Premiere. Now I understand that you can make these graphics in After Effects, but there's some people out there who know Photoshop, know Premiere, but maybe they don't know After Effects. And After Effects can be a little bit more complicated to learn. So I'm going to show you the simple way of doing this with Photoshop and Adobe Premiere. But before we get started, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. Please like the video, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. You know every time I upload a new video. It absolutely helps having you subscribe and have you like the video. It helps with the channel, helps to keep things free. So that being said, let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is have Photoshop. We want to create a new file in Photoshop, 1920 by 1080, 300 pixels per inch, RGB, transparent background, and click Create. Once we have a transparent background, what I want to do now is I'm just going to fill the background with a color just so I can see my typing, because I want to create a white or off-white text. Now I'm going to select text. We'll center it. I have what I want as far as the font. We will do an off-white, and once I get the color, I'll click OK. And now I just need to go down here and I need to type it out exactly as I want it. This is a simple lower third that we're going to animate. So we'll type out Michael Johnston, and then I'm going to do the vertical line. Oh, that's not it. Vertical line, and we'll just say host because I'm just making this up right now. Now I need to position it where I want it. And now this is going to be text over video, and if it's a light area you might not be able to read the text. So what I need to do now is I want to do a stroke outline, but with the black I can't really see. So what I'm going to do is I want to change my background color to chroma green just so that I can see. So I select, I go up here and I click OK, and I fill, and I'm going to fill the background with chroma green. Now I can go in here and double click on the layer for the effects. So double click and go to stroke, and you can click on the stroke. We'll do outside, and we just bring that down so it just looks right, and we'll click OK. So now I have it the way I want it. So now what I'm going to do is I've got to go over here and turn off the background layer so that it's not visible. And now I need to save just this text as a PNG. So we're going to go to File, Save as Copy. We're going to pick where we want to save it, anywhere, desktop. I always do downloads if it's something temporary, and change the save type as PNG, and we're just going to name it something that we'll remember. So pick a spot to save it and name it and click Save. And that's all we need for this for Photoshop. We'll come back to Photoshop later. And then also here you go. You can change the font type from there once you select it. That's up to you. I use the Babus New just because it looks very clean. I love that. So once we're done there and we've saved it, you can exit out of Photoshop. Now we need to open Premiere. So now what I need to do is I need to go and pull over a couple of items. So in the video 2, right there, I need to go find, first of all, I need to go find the text PNG file which we created, and I'm going to drag it into that video 2, and it didn't drag, so I'm going to have to move it because it didn't go where I wanted it to go. And this is really just, I mean, if you start with a blank slate, you won't have as much in here to deal with. I've got a lot of templates, so I leave that stuff in there, so it's a little bit more confusing. So there it is, and I click on it, and there's the text PNG file, which I can lay down here. But what I need to do is I need to get that chroma green file that I had that I can put as a layer underneath of this text on the timeline. And I don't already have it preloaded. And if you don't have it, just go down to Google Chrome. We're going to do a search for chroma green. We're going to select images. We're going to go find the one that is full screen, that's 1920 by 1080. There it is right there. We're going to click on that. And then we're just going to right click, save image as, and we're going to go to downloads. We'll name it chroma green. Now we can exit out of Chrome. We can go back to our folder, to our downloads folder after we close the CCleaner. Go to downloads, chroma green, and we're going to drag that into the video 2 line. Now what we're going to do is drop the chroma green. That's going to be our layer 1 video. And we want to extend the length and lay down about how long our key is. So if you're wanting to do a key that's 4 seconds, then you want like 5 seconds of video. If you're doing a key that's 5 seconds, you want 6 seconds or maybe 7 seconds. You want a little bit more background than the length of the key. So we'll zoom in here. I've laid chroma green on the bottom for 5 seconds. And after I build everything, I'll probably come back and extend this a little bit. So now on the top layer, I'm going to lay down that text PNG file. So click to the end, go back 1 frame. Now we're going to click here. I'm going to clear my out point so it doesn't give me an error and drag that up. And we're going to lay down, and then this is what you get. It's almost like what you had in Photoshop, except now I need to go down to the chroma because it didn't fill the whole frame, so I need to zoom in. And so now it's filled. See how it zoomed in and filled the entire frame on the program output. Now what we are going to do is go through and we're going to use an effect. We go up here and use, so you can see if I turn off the layers like that, yep, you can see the text right there. And I'm going to leave it black so while we're manipulating this. So we're going to go to effects. I have it saved as crop. You can also do a search up top for crop. It'll give you all the different ones, but I have a favorites folder where I keep everything I use. But crop, we're going to pull that onto the text, the PNG text layer. And then what we're going to do is to go here under its fit right now. We're going to hit 100%, and we're going to just kind of zoom in here on the program window. We'll go to 75. And this is going to make it easier when you're fine-tuning the motion. So we have it right there. That's what we want to edit, and we want to animate that. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go in here to the edit controls. So I'm going to select the layer I want to edit, and then go to the beginning, go to edit controls. And what I'm going to be doing is scroll down, and I'm going to be manipulating the crop effect. So I'll scroll all the way down, and you can see left, top, right, bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this, we're going to crop all the way to the line. We want the line. We'll crop the right side all the way in to the line. Then we're going to crop the top and bottom halfway. So it's going to crop down. We'll get about, so we keep scrolling over, get it about halfway, and then we're going to crop the bottom, do the same thing with the bottom. And we're going to crop it halfway until there's no image at all. There it is. Now what we're going to do, the way I want this to animate, I want the vertical line to extend, and then I want it to, the words to expand out. So the way we do that is, first of all, for the top and the bottom, we make sure we're at that very beginning, the first frame, and we're going to click to add a keyframe at the top and the bottom. So we'll click the top keyframe, bottom keyframe, and you can see in there where it's creating a keyframe. Zoom in a little bit so we can see our keyframes, and then you have to determine how long you want it to go. So how many frames do you want the vertical line to extend? Obviously, the more frames, the slower it goes. So determine how far you want it and then click a second keyframe. Now go over here and on the second keyframe, go till it just extends to the very top. Do the top and then the bottom. Don't do it to 0 because it's then expanding beyond beyond what's visible, and then it slows things down. Now we want to highlight those first keyframes and we want to do an ease out. And then we highlight the second set of keyframes and do an ease in with a right click. Now if we watch this and play it, see how that line kind of animates? There we go. So that's the first part. Now after it's done animating, now we need to animate the words to the right and to the left. So we click to get on that second set of keyframes, and we're going to go forward for as long as you want, 20 frames. If you go 30 frames, that's a second, and you just determine how long you want it to animate. And we're going to create 2 new keyframes. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to extend until it shows the words. So there we go. Extend the right and the left. Okay. So that's where we want it to go. And if you watch it, now the problem I made here, see how it animates? It's all animating vertical. I mean, if you wanted that, that's fine. But I don't want that. I want the words to go left to right. So what I got to do is I got to go to that second set of keyframes. And I've messed up here. I got to go to the second set of keyframes right there. Got to get it right on that keyframe. And then I just need to create from there, create a new set of keyframes for left and right. And so from there, and then I go to those and create 2 new keyframes. So these keyframes, there's nothing there. And I highlight those. And then over here is where I need it to animate from the first set of keyframes to the second set of keyframes. So I go to there, and that's where the top or the left and right, if I could see, that's where I do my animation over. I crop over, and then I'm going to crop to host. And then what I'm going to do is just like before, I'm going to right click these keyframes and I want to do ease out. Ease out, and it's kind of opposite of what it should be. You would think you would ease into the animation, ease out, but really you're easing out of the keyframe, easing into the keyframe. So the second set of keyframes are ease in. So now I've got it all set up like that, and if I play it, the vertical line is going to extend, and then the names are going to reveal like that. And then you can adjust your keyframes, adjust your motion, because it looks like host is kind of revealing before Michael, but you get the idea. That's how you kind of animate it. That's animating it in. Now if you want to, at the end of the 4 seconds or 5 seconds, you want to animate out so that it kind of reverses itself. Now see, I'm adjusting some of the outputs. You can just drag your keyframes to adjust where it goes to. So I think it animated too slow, so I'm just pulling keyframes to make it go a little bit faster. Now what you need to do is see how these keyframes are all positioned on the timeline or in the effect controls. What you need to do now is you don't have to rebuild these at the end. You can copy these keyframes, but they have to go in reverse order. So the first keyframes here, I'm going to highlight them all and I'm going to copy them. And I'm going to go to the very end, and I'm going to go to the very end and then go back 1 space, and I'm going to paste them. So right click and paste. Now if I go back over And now look at those 4 keyframes that are a second set of keyframes. First of all, I need to know how many spaces over, so how many frames did I go? And then I'm going to copy them all, right click, copy. And now when we go back over here, I'm going to count that same number backwards from these keyframes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11, 10 or 11. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste those keyframes. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the last sets of keyframes. I'm going to go from there. I need to count over by frames to see how many frames am I going over to the next set of keyframes. I copy them, highlight them both, right click and copy. Go to the end. Now from those 4 keyframes, I got to count the same amount backwards. So we'll count backwards, and then we will paste our next set of keyframes. And then we will do the same thing for the last set. This makes it a lot easier than having to build everything by itself one at a time. You can just copy your keyframes. We will highlight them, right click, copy, and then we are going to paste them once we count back. And they get pasted. Now the only other thing you would have to do is at the end, like at the beginning we're easing out to easing in. Now you're easing in to easing out. So you kind of have to reverse those. You know, I'm not going to do that real quick. It's just, we'll just play it. But if I play this, it's animating, and then it's going back. So that's how I animate that. Now what I need to do is I'll go back to fit. We'll turn on our chroma layer, and we'll play it. And when it goes out, it ends right at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the chroma background just a little bit to give it some pad there. And so then basically what you do from here is once you have it animated the way you like it on that chroma screen, or chroma green, is now we're just going to we're going to export this file as an MP4. And then later I'll show you how you put this like over a video or something to get it to key in. And in another video I'm going to show you how you can use these animated keys within OBS or OBS Studio for your live streams, because that's what this is really all about, is how you can get animated lower thirds, animated keys in OBS. And you know, you can export this stuff as you know, with a transparent background, with, you know, keyed out and things like that. But I think it's just easier if you save these with the chroma. So I always choose YouTube 1080p in Premiere H.264, and then I just pick where I want to export it, and we're going to export it. And so this is, you know, a 5-second key. Exports pretty quick. And there it is, and we have it saved. And we have it saved as a file, which then we can bring back into our project and use later to put over video. So that's pretty much how you create that simple text animated lower third. And you can place it anywhere you want. You can do the same thing, just increase the size, put it in the middle, do whatever you want. I'm saving the project here. We're going to close it. Now we're going to go back to Photoshop because I want to show you a little how to build a more complex lower third. And this is one with a traditional lower third. Now I'll tell you right now that as I'm opening all this up, you can go search for free lower third templates online as an image in Google Chrome. Find something you like, save it, and you're ready to go. Start with a 1920 by 1080 canvas the way we started before. Fill your background. This time I'm going to fill it with chroma. So chroma green. And then what I'm going to do now is, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I do want, I'm going to do black text. So I'm setting that. But before I do that, I really need to, and I have the different, I want to change fonts this time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually, what I'm going to do is show you first another text, um, another just text, animated text, lower third. Only this one, instead of the vertical line extending and then the text, we're actually going to have a horizontal line extend and text. It's the same principle, but in this case, we're building it all. So let's see here. Highlight everything. We want it to start from the left like that, and then I need to make it smaller to fit the screen. But actually, I don't want my font to be so much smaller, so I'm just going to hit Control T to transform and unlink the vertical. Up here, I'm going to unlink vertical and horizontal so that I can just drag it back a little bit like that. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and position it. But what we're going to do is create a little horizontal line underneath between my name and host. So we're going to choose, let's do a red. Let's do a red line. So it looks a little different. So there we go, a little darker. And we're going to click OK. Now I'm going to go down to the square, the tool here, and we're just going to make a small line. We're just going to start from here. We're dragging and let go. And there we go. We have a red line. And so maybe that's your lower third that you want to build. You can move it wherever you want. If you want to add a stroke around it, there's all kinds of things you can do just to kind of create it the way you want it. And right here you'll see the rectangle. I always rasterize the layer just to keep it easy to use. And then we're going to go to stroke, and what are we doing here? White. Actually, I don't know if, I don't think I want a stroke on this. I don't think that looks good. Let's just keep the red line. So let's turn off stroke. So then what we'll do is go to the words. We can add some white around that, and maybe we have something like that. I like to have some kind of a border, because if you have black text, it's fine unless the image it's keying over is dark, and then you can't read it. Same way with white. If it's over something bright, you can't read it. So now we are going to save this, like before, as just a PNG, just like we did before. So we'll name it host 2. Okay. So we're done. That's just our simple, easy one. We're going to exit out, not going to save it, and we're going to go back to Premiere, and we're basically going to do the exact same thing we did before, except the keys and the motions are going to be a little bit different. So this time we're going to extend vertical to reveal the words, and we're going to extend horizontal to reveal the line. And at the end of the day, it's still going to animate. It's just a different type of animation. And once you get familiar with your keyframes, manipulating keyframes, and you practice this a little bit, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do. So we're going to have to import everything just like before. We'll put it in that video 2 bin. So let's go find it. Under documents, there's host 2. We already have our chroma green. So now we already have chroma green on the thing. We just need to replace the text layer, which is layer 2, with the new text. And then we need to build our keys. So there it is. We will clear the out point. We're going to lay that down. And now I'm going to go back to 75% to fit to screen. That's too big. It won't completely fit. So we will go to 50%. There we go. Just so we can see it really well, because that red is so close to the words that we got to be very precise with the crop. So now again, you need that crop effect to lay onto the text layer. And we will go down, and we are going to start by cropping everything till you don't see anything. So we need to crop the top, pull it all the way down until Michael Johnson is gone. You don't want to crop the red, you just want so we'll do the same thing from the bottom. Just got to be very kind of precise with it. There we go. Now we're going to, again, this time we're cropping horizontal, right and left, halfway. So we want to just crop right, to crop that line halfway, and then crop left to crop the rest of the line until it completely disappears. So we'll start with the left. We'll crop it about halfway. Then we're going to go down to the right, and we're going to crop it right there, all the way right there. Now, starting with the first frame of the video, just like before, we're going to create keyframes, but this time we're creating keyframes left and right instead of top and bottom. Going to go out for as long as we want to extend those lines, so however slow or fast you want it. The more frames out that you count, the faster the slower it's going to move. The fewer the keyframes, the faster it moves. So we'll go there, and we're going to create, and then again, right at that second layer is where we'll create the keyframes for top and bottom. And so what we're going to do is, at that point, at the second set of keyframes, we want to reveal the line. So we'll uncrop just to there. And we're going to leave top and bottom because that's where we start our reveal for the words. So now we're going to go out, and remember our ease in and ease out. So we're going to ease in and ease out, or we're going to ease into moving to show words. Now we're going to count out for as far as, and you're just using the arrow button on your keyboard to, I'm just doing all the ease ins, ease outs first. So one more. Now we're going to count out. So start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 14. And we're going to create a top and bottom keyframe at that point. And that's where we're going to uncrop to reveal the words. That's an ease in. That's an ease in. And now from there, just reveal the words. Just like that. And when we play it, it reveals itself. The line extends, and then the words reveal. And you can adjust your keyframes if you want it faster or slower. So you can just pull keyframes and adjust. But that's basically how it works. And then again, the same thing we did before, where we had to copy the keyframes to the end of the clip, but in reverse order. We're going to do the exact same thing here. So I'm just copying, and I'm going over here to the end. We're going to paste, and then we'll speed this up, and you can see I'm just going to paste all of them, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. And so there you go. You see as we play it how it looks. We'll go back to fit it on screen. We'll play it with the green screen. And there you go, the animation. And so from this point forward, all you do is you're going to export this the same way we exported the other one. We put an in and out point, and we export it as an MP4, and then you can use it just like the other one as a video layer, and then we can just key out the chroma and you have an animated lower third. So we'll go ahead and export.
So that's how you make the simple text, animated text, whether it's a vertical line, a horizontal line. And obviously, I made it simple to try to keep the video as short as possible. You can get more creative with how you make your text, with how you animate your text, flying in, flying out, things like that. The more familiar you get with keyframes in Photoshop, the better your stuff is going to look. But I just made this, it's rudimentary, it's basic, because I wanted you to learn the basics. You can get better from there. Now we're going to take a look at creating a lower third with a banner, the more traditional look. And I'm going to show you that now.
Okay, so in this video we are going to do a more traditional lower third with a background, animated, and text. I've already got it loaded here. You can go Google anywhere, search lower third template, save it, go into Photoshop, clear out any kind of a background, bring it in as a PNG file, and then we're going to load that onto video line 2 over top our chroma green. So this is a follow-up to the easy text ones we've done. We're just adding to this. So we're going to add a layer. So what we're going to do after we have this as a PNG file, you've noticed that I've got it set here and I've got a little bit of space on either end. So we're going to clear the out here so we can load this down. We're going to lay it down on the top layer. And then once we have that, we're going to have to go into Photoshop and do the same thing, because we're going to need to create a text layer in Photoshop. You can create text layers in Premiere. It's just not as clean looking, and it's maybe not as easy to use or to work with. So we need a text layer to put on layer 3. So I've kind of jumped the gun by starting here. So we're going to go ahead and save this because we're going to need to get into Photoshop. So let's go ahead and open Photoshop. And essentially we're going to want the same thing. We're going to want to create a project that's 1920 by 1080, same as we've done before. What am I opening here? Let's just see. Graphics, lower third, and there is that's the one I had already created. But basically this is what you want to create. You want to create a transparent background, 1920 by 1080. You want to bring in the lower third layer, and like I said, you search on Google, whatever, pull it in, remove the background, or take the background out, and we just want to lay it there. And then what we want to do is create our text over top of this lower third. And so it's easier if you really just kind of create all this at once. So you lay the layer down, you lay your text down, and then manipulate your text, drag it where you want, get it the color you want. Obviously we don't want black over the red because you can't read it. So we're going to change that to white. And then you resize it however you want, get it where you want. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave it right like this. If you have another one, if you have a lower third that has a second level where you can put like a subtitle or somebody's title, like if it's Michael Johnson, then host was a title name. But what we want to do now is, once we have the text layer, so what you would do is you'd build this like this. You would save this layer by itself as a layer, as a PNG file, and we already had, we called it HD L3, HD5L3. We save it, and then we turn on the text layer, turn off the banner layer, and save again as a copy. We're going to save it as a PNG, and this time we'll just name it my name. Click save. Okay. And if you want to save the Photoshop file in case you want to come back to it, it's a good idea to do if you want to use that lower third a lot, because then you just go in and change the name and then just keep saving text layers. But in this case I didn't, because it's just for demonstration. Now I need to bring all those layers into a bin, and they're all there except for the Michael Johnson. So I'm going to go find that. It is right there right there it is. We're going to drag it in, and now we're going to lay that layer over top on layer 3. We've already got an in and out. We're going to lay it down. And so if we look, there's the whole thing. Now all we need to do is animate it. But we have separate layers. And that's what's important here, is that you have separate layers that you can manipulate and work with. And so what we're going to do first is we are going to animate. We're going to start by animating the banner. So, well, yes, we're going to animate the banner. We'll go up here to Effects, or Effect Controls, because we're not actually going to crop this. We're just going to move it. So this time, with the keyframes, unlike before where we were using crop, this time we're going to use position to actually move the banner. So we're going to go over here to the beginning and add our keyframe for motion. Added a keyframe, and we want it to animate 20, 25 seconds, 15 to 30 frames. I said seconds, 15 to 30 frames. You can decide how fast or slow you want it to go, but we're just going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 18. Click there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the first keyframe at the beginning. So let's go back. I can't click on it. Everything's so tight. Every time I want to click on a keyframe, it wants to click on the percentage. But we're going to click back. There we go. And then from there, we're going to move. See how I'm moving it? We're going to move the percentage. Just drag it over till it's off frame. Okay. Then again, we'll right click on the keyframe. We're going to ease temporal. We're going to ease out, and then we're going to ease in. Ease in. And when we play it, and by doing that ease in, ease out, what that does is it allows it to kind of like ramp up and slow down, so it's not just a linear jerky type movement. So it starts a little slow, ramps up fast, starts slow, or that's what it's supposed to do. So now that we have that, what we need to do is see how I'm going back. So now that it moves, I'm clicking the little arrow button. I'm going back frame by frame right to where the text is just about to go off the banner. And yeah, before I do that, I want to go ahead and go to the end. We're going to go ahead and paste our copy and paste. I just want to make sure I get it in the right spot and don't mess it up. And then we're going to copy this one. So I'm doing things just a little bit faster and a little bit different than I did. So we'll count forward. I believe it was 19 frames, 18, 19, or 20, and then I'm going to go the same amount over here. Start right there, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16. And we're going to paste it. And we're going to change our interpolation to ease in and ease out. And we're just going to play it, see how it goes out. So it goes in, it goes out. In for however long your clip is, and then it's going to animate out. So the next thing we need to do is, once we've done that, is we need to key over. We want to key right to where the words are still on the banner and they're not completely off screen. And that's where we're going to put on we're going to click and change to the text layer, and we add a keyframe on that position. But we're going to add a crop here, because we're going to use crop on the text. So we're actually putting a keyframe on the crop. And from here we will go to the left. So I think a keyframe, yeah, I don't want to go that way. I want to go from the left. So So we're going to add a keyframe. Had to think for a second. And then, so it's going to, and then back to where the banner is completely extended. We're going to add another keyframe. So these keyframes are pretty close together. And then go to the first keyframe, and we're just going to crop it completely out to the end. And now we mark our interpolations out and in. And then we play it. And see how the banner flies in from the left, and then the words start reveal from right to left. So left to right for the banner, right to left reveal for the words as you play it. So, and I'm just inching forward to show you and see how as you go forward. It's going forward, go forward, go forward, and then when you get to there, it starts to reveal the words. And then all you have to do after that is the same thing before. You have to copy and place your keyframes, remembering that you're reversing how you've done it before. So I need to go back. Actually, I just messed that up. Okay. No. That's, what am I doing? So just remember now you have to actually count over, and then you have to reverse your keyframes. So I just counted over to where that is. I'll go to the end. I'll count that. Count back. And then I'll place my keyframe there. Paste. And same deal. Then I got to count between the two keyframes at the beginning and do the same at the end. Same deal. And once you get familiar with the process, this becomes a lot faster, and you'll be able to fly through these, because I have taken slower than normal just so I can explain it, and some of you not used to it, you may even think that my explanations have been very fast. So here you go, and that's what it looks like, and then at the end it's going to go out. And so, it's not the cleanest version. I mean, you can, if I was really playing around with it, I could get it a lot cleaner or how I wanted it, but this gives you the idea of how to do it. Now, yes, you can create a lot of this stuff in After Effects if you're really good with After Effects, but the point of this is, I know Photoshop, I know Premiere. I'm not great with After Effects, and even when my times of using Avid, I've had to create documents, page pulls, all kinds of stuff within Media Composer without the use of After Effects. So even when I didn't have access to After Effects, so I've just learned how to build this stuff kind of on the fly within Premiere and Avid, and that's why I'm showing you, because there are quite a few people out there who know Premiere and Photoshop, but they don't know Avid, or I'm sorry, they don't know After Effects. So that's what this is all about. So I hope you guys have learn something from watching this. And so once it's exported, we have it. We've now have 3 different keys that we've built and we've saved. And from here, it's just a matter of adding those as layers in video, so that you can actually key your stuff in. And so what we'll do here is I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to get a piece of video. I'm going to go find something. First, I'm going to pull these keys in that I just created, the video, the MP4s. I'm just going to do the one for now. And I'm going to go up here to copy. No. Oh yeah, okay. So we'll just go here to this. This is a previous video I had produced. It's on the website, or on the YouTube channel. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay a text, or lay one of these lower thirds over top a section of this video. It doesn't match, it doesn't matter, it's just a demonstration, but I'm going to play an in and out. I'll zoom in my timeline so I can see better, and I'm just going to lay that key, this key right here. I'm going to put it up on video line 2, I'm just going to lay it in there, and now it's saying change because actually I need to clear the out point on the timeline. So I'll just clear the out point, and we'll just lay it down there. There it is, and you see it's chroma green. So now all you have to do is go to Effects. I have it saved in my favorites, but you can search for Ultra Key, and I have it saved down here. It's Ultra Key, and drag that on top of your key. Go to Effect Editor or Controls, scroll down, click the little eyedropper, and go on the program screen and just click that green, and it keys it right out. And then when you play it, there it goes. It keys in, you let it play through, and it animates out. And that's pretty much it. It is a very, very simple process for how you can create animated lower thirds.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. And then also you can check out another video later on my channel that's going to show you how you use animated lower thirds that we've created here in OBS so that you can have a more dynamic stream, a more dynamic production when you're using OBS. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.